What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So President Donald Trump just made a huge announcement at the Fed, the Federal Reserve here, that could affect millions of Americans and interest rates going forward here. President Donald Trump has pretty much been doing everything he can to force the Fed to lower interest rates for all Americans and the government, which is paying about $1 trillion per year just in interest costs alone. And interest is still extremely high for Americans. We're seeing credit card interest rates near all-time highs, over 30%, in some cases over 35%. And car loans, auto loans, leases still extremely high, mortgage rates still pretty darn high, refinances as well, personal loans, all of these interest rates still extremely high. And the White House said previously that there was dozens and dozens of countries that have already started to lower their interest rates, and the Fed has not. And President Donald Trump is calling him too late Powell. Jerome Powell is always too late in these decisions. He was too late to lower interest rates, too late to raise interest rates initially, and now he's too late to lower interest rates. And this is harming Americans, American businesses, and the government, which is paying $1 trillion a year in interest. And well, I'm going to show you what President Donald Trump just did. And well, it's pretty crazy here. So let's jump right in. We are live right now here on the YouTube It's Jimmy Show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we are broadcasting all around the world. And we have people tuning in here from pretty much everywhere. We have had over 230 million people watch our YouTube show. So if you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos, and click the bell icon so you get notifications when new videos come out. And don't forget to hit that like button for me. Take a look here. So Trump administration pushes law enforcement crackdown. We covered that on some previous videos here, how he is deploying thousands of troops to Washington, D.C., but also going to be going to new cities now. But President Donald Trump fired a Fed Reserve governor, which the Fed has previously said is not possible. But President Donald Trump just did it. Trump says that he'll have a Fed majority now, that he has fired this Federal Reserve governor. I'll let you hear a video here in a second on how he did this and why he did this. It's not the Federal Reserve president, but remember here that the vote on whether or not to lower interest rates is done by a Federal Reserve Board of Presidents. They all take a vote on whether or not to lower interest rates. And Trump has been putting pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates. And the last vote was not a unanimous vote. It was some people voted to lower interest rates and some people didn't. And the Fed has been signaling that they're going to lower interest rates soon. And now Trump just fired one of the old Federal Reserve Board president members in his sign that he is not happy with them and they need to lower interest rates now. Here's what happened. Take a look here.
Donald Trump has taken the unprecedented step of firing Federal Reserve Governing Board member Lisa Cook. In a letter to her, he said, "I have determined that there is sufficient cause to remove you from your position. At minimum, the conduct at issue exhibits the sort of gross negligence in financial transactions that calls into question your competence and trustworthiness as a financial regulator." The move follows allegations made by Federal Housing Finance Agency Director William Pulte, a Trump ally. He says Cook is guilty of mortgage fraud, claiming she listed two different properties as being her primary residence on mortgage applications. That could have allowed her to secure lower rates on her borrowing. However, Pulte has provided no public evidence for the allegation, and Cook is defiant. She had said she would not be bullied into stepping down, and has vowed to gather evidence to answer all questions over her mortgages. Cook was appointed to the Fed board in 2022 by then-President Joe Biden. She is the first African American woman to serve as a Fed governor. Now her dismissal could be challenged in court amid legal uncertainty over whether Trump has the power to fire her. It also comes amid Trump's fierce criticism of the central bank's leadership. He's regularly accused Chair Jerome Powell of being too slow to cut rates.
People aren't able to buy a house because this guy is a numbskull. He keeps the rates too high.
Trump has frequently threatened to fire the Fed chief, but has backed away from that as the end of Powell's term approaches in May.
Now, Fed Governor Lisa Cook, who was just fired by President Donald Trump, says that she will sue to keep her job because it was previously thought that Fed governors could not be fired by a president. And also they say, quote, his attempts to fire her based solely on a referral letter lacks any factual or legal basis. We will be filing a lawsuit challenging this illegal action, says Cook's lawyer. But this is very important because Cook's departure would allow Trump to pick a majority on the Fed's 7-member board, including 2 incumbents and pending nomination of White House economist Stephen Miran. So, with Trump having the majority, if this goes through and the lawsuit doesn't successfully combat it, Trump, having put new members in there, will successfully have control of the Fed if they all vote the way he wants, and basically will do his bidding and lower interest rates or whatever he tells him, possibly. And we could see interest rates lowered here potentially fast. Let me know your thoughts on this here in the comment section. Now, it has been said here in the past many, many times for many, many years that the Fed should remain independent of presidents and the government. Remember here that the Fed, set aside that a lot of people want lower interest rates, okay? The Fed and Feds around the world, that there are Feds for all major other countries, Canada, Europe, different countries in Europe, et cetera, okay? When inflation went up right after COVID, okay, central banks and Feds around the world had to make decisions to raise interest rates, okay, because inflation shot up, okay? And I'll show you a graph here. Here is an inflation graph of the United States since 2014, okay? So a little bit over the last 10 years or so, okay? And you can see here, after the pandemic, inflation shot up, okay? And this happened in many, many countries around the world, okay? So a lot of countries around the world, what did they do? They had to raise interest rates. This is a tried and true strategy because when interest rates go up, people tend to stop borrowing. They tend to stop spending more than they should, aka buying on credit cards, buying expensive cars, buying a new home, mortgaging a new home, spending more than they should. Okay, this is a tried and true strategy around the world, not just in the United States, that when inflation goes up, you have to raise interest rates and then inflation tends to go down. And believe it or not, look what happened. So when inflation went up, the United States and countries around the world raised interest rates, and then we've seen inflation come down. Again, this is a tried and true strategy that most of the time works, okay, unless you have other extreme factors at play or something along those lines, okay? So we've seen inflation go up pretty fast after the pandemic and the supply chain issues and, all those things that happened, right? And then inflation kind of came back down pretty quickly. If you just look at the graph, how quickly it went up and how quickly it kind of came down, it kind of went down semi-quickly. I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comment section, right? But yeah, so the question here now is that how much should rates be lowered, and how much do you want to lower them, and not particularly too much, because you don't want to see inflation go up too much. And also the tariffs at play, where that could also lead to inflation here also. I had a graph on some other webpage from a previous video that I showed. It showed it really good, but this one will do here. But here shows the inflation here since over the last 5 years that's spiked up since the pandemic here. All items was up to 9%. But when we look at just basically goods, inflation minus food and energy, we've seen since about 2023, it's been coming down. But now that tariffs are starting to take effect, we've seen this trend start to reverse. It's coming down, and now it's starting to go back up. And my guess is that as the months go by here, we will continue to see this trend go up. We will see here. We're also starting to see this in some other graphs here of supply management prices spiking here in late 2025. And also this other graph here of household furnishings and operations, a lot of stuff that gets shipped from overseas, prices spiking here. But it's not just that. We're seeing a lot of other stuff in the last year have double-digit inflation increases, stuff like eggs, roasted coffee, instant coffee, which is imported and has a lot of tariffs on it. Utility piped gas service. I did a recent video here, or I'll be doing a video here about how the cost of utilities, how much expensive they are. College textbook, uncooked beef steaks, audio equipment, other condiments, uncooked ground beef, beef and veal, all anywhere from 11 to 16% inflation just in the last year. Real quick, if you're about protecting your health and your wallet, listen up. Millions of Americans are on the wrong Medicare plan. Many are paying more than they should, and others don't have the coverage they need. Some end up with unexpected bills that they can't delay. It's really sad. If you're about to turn 65 or already on Medicare, don't let this happen to you. Call my partners at Chapter with the phone number here on the screen. They'll check to see if you're already on the best plan. If you are, they'll tell you, and if you're not, they'll help you get something better. Folks that work with Chapter typically save $1,100 per year. That's right. It's free, it's easy, it's quick, and they can review your options in under 20 minutes. Make sure you have the right plan that covers you in an emergency. Call Chapter right now with this number on the screen, which is 833-700-1320. And it's 100% free. Don't just wonder or worry if you have the coverage you need. Call them today. Or click the link in the pinned comment down below and find out, like so many of our viewers have. So share this video with others that need to hear this information, or share it on social media. Make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos, and help me reach 500,000 subscribers. Click here to see Trump's new executive order that will go into effect this week and affect millions of Americans. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in